Just like that, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, the team owners, the Players Association, in the split of an instance, all of it can change. In a split instance, all of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA.
The WNBA may have just lost its biggest star, and they have no one to blame but themselves. Caitlin Clark is officially out for at least 2 weeks with a left quadricep strain, marking the first time she's missed a non-preseason game since her sophomore year in college. She's been the face of the season, starting all 4 games for the Indiana Fever and putting up an impressive 19 points, 9.3 assists, and 6 rebounds per game. But now, just as things were heating up, she's sidelined. What's worse, this might have been avoidable. Reports suggest she had preseason quad tightness that was never fully addressed. Was Clark playing hurt the entire time, while taking brutal hits from dirty defenders and getting no protection from blind referees? The timing couldn't be worse, and the league is in full panic mode. Let's show Caitlin some love and drop a "get well soon" CC in the comments below. She deserves better.
The Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight. Caitlin Clark's out 2 weeks.
Was Caitlin Clark playing on a damaged leg this whole time, while everyone just looked the other way? The signs are becoming impossible to ignore, and it's honestly infuriating. During the Liberty game on May 24th, something felt off from the very beginning. Her shots were falling short, missing that signature explosiveness we've all come to expect from her deep range. But the real red flag? Video footage shows Clark using a heat pack on her leg during the game. You don't need to be a doctor to know what that means. She was clearly playing through pain. The question is, why was this allowed to happen?
There is literally footage of Caitlin Clark putting heat compression towards her leg. There is literally footage of her putting heat packs on her leg. There is new footage of her heating up her quad when she's playing.
Coach Stephanie White admitted after the MRI results came back that she wasn't even sure when Caitlin Clark actually got injured. Let that sink in. The team only realized something was seriously wrong after getting a message from Clark after the game. White even said, "I'm glad that she did because we need to nip this in the bud," referring to Clark finally speaking up about her discomfort. That one quote says it all. Clark had been hiding her pain, pushing through silently, while the team and league kept sending her out there like nothing was wrong.
I'm at the game. Caitlin Clark does not look right on the sideline. Caitlin Clark is coming out. She has heat compression on her quad. She was playing injured. And ironically, that is probably the best case scenario. That is probably the best thing. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's a bad thing. And trust me on this, it is probably the best case scenario that she's been actually playing through this and she was able to play through this fine.
Let's be real about what actually happened here. This wasn't some freak accident during the Liberty game. Caitlin Clark already missed the Fever's preseason opener because of tightness in her left quad, and now she's dealing with another injury in that same exact leg. The team keeps insisting this new strain is unrelated to the earlier issue, but let's not kid ourselves. When the same muscle group gives out twice in one season, that's not a coincidence, that's a clear pattern. Something was overlooked, and now the face of the league is paying the price.
Maybe this will be the wake-up call that the WNBA needs to clean up the officiating, to actually show that they appreciate this golden goose that has landed in their lap that goes by the name of Caitlin Clark. It's been so long where we've just seen this girl getting beat up in games. We see her get grabbed, hacked, bumped into, knocked on the floor. There's never any whispers from her.
Here's what makes this entire situation even more infuriating. Caitlin Clark has been getting absolutely hammered by physical play for 2 straight years, from the end of her college career into her rookie WNBA season. Game after game, defenders are allowed to grab her, bump her off screens, and hit her with hard fouls, and the refs just let it slide. The level of contact she's forced to absorb would earn whistles for almost anyone else. But with Clark, it's like the rules don't apply. The targeting has been obvious, and yet the officials have done nothing to protect the league's biggest star.
What was that play? Oh my God, this is rigged. This is rigged. She got yanked, fell on her hip. That's a hack!
Coach White's comment about great players hiding injuries hits the nail on the head. Caitlin Clark clearly felt the pressure to keep playing, no matter what her body was telling her. Like always, she probably thought she could just tough it out and push through the pain. But this time, her body finally said no. And here's the terrifying reality. Clark has been playing hurt, while getting pounded night after night by defenders who knew the refs wouldn't protect her. She's been carrying the weight of the league, and now she's paying the price for it.
The league is still resentful of her, it's still jealous of her, and it's still trying to put her in her place and give her nothing, make her earn something that she already earned last year when she put this league on the national map. For the first time ever, it was really, really and truly on the national map.
This injury was completely preventable. With proper rest after her preseason quad strain, better officiating to stop the relentless targeting, and a medical staff that actually recognized the warning signs, this entire disaster could have been avoided. Instead, everyone looked the other way while the body of the league's most important player slowly broke down. And now, the WNBA is living its worst nightmare. Caitlin Clark is sidelined, and their immediate panic response shows just how heavily they've been relying on one person to carry the league.
Caitlin Clark, somebody who was responsible for 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity last season, including revenue from merchandise, ticket sales, and television, is out for a minimum of 2 weeks. Minimum of 2 weeks, more like 4 to 6 weeks. Minimum of 2 weeks, because remember, that's when she gets reevaluated. More like 4 to 6 weeks.
Within hours of Caitlin Clark's injury announcement, the WNBA's worst nightmare became reality. League executives who had been riding high on the wave of her popularity were suddenly staring down the terrifying prospect of empty arenas and crashing TV ratings. The panic was immediate and obvious. Teams that had invested heavily in Clark's star power, from marketing to ticket sales, were now facing potential financial disaster. One injury just exposed how fragile the league's momentum really is when it's built around a single player.
I'm already seeing people saying, I'm taking a break. I'm already seeing people say, I'll be back in a little bit. These numbers are going to go down. The owners are going to walk into those negotiation rooms feeling themselves. Shout out to Beyonce. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling my... Again, they're lucky this is only a rumored 2 to 4 weeks. Because if the news was the season, people would tune out 100%.
The Washington Mystics had already gone all in, moving their upcoming game against the Fever to a larger venue in Baltimore, banking on the massive crowds that follow Caitlin Clark everywhere she goes. But now, with Clark sidelined, they're scrambling to deal with refund requests from fans who bought tickets just to see her. And honestly, it's embarrassing, having to explain to disappointed fans that the only reason for the venue upgrade was one player, and now that player isn't even coming. It just goes to show how much of the league's momentum was riding on Clark's shoulders alone.
There is one thing, no doubt, that's about to happen. The WNBA teams that moved their games, this is about to be catastrophic for them. And it's kind of funny.
The Chicago Sky took an even bigger gamble, moving their Fever matchup to the iconic United Center, home of the Chicago Bulls, in what was meant to be a bold statement about the WNBA's growth and rising popularity. But with Caitlin Clark now out, that move is looking more like a looming disaster. Thousands of seats could go empty, turning what was supposed to be a historic showcase into a PR nightmare. Just imagine the optics. A nearly empty United Center during a nationally televised game. That's not just a bad look. It's the kind of embarrassment that can set a league back years.
Yep, that's the Baltimore game. I believe that's about a 15,000 seat arena situation. This one's at the United Center in Chicago. good luck getting anybody there. I mean, seriously.
Here's the scary truth WNBA executives have to face. Their entire revenue model depends on a 23-year-old player. The May matchup between the Fever and Sky shattered records as the most-watched WNBA broadcast in ESPN history, pulling in 2.7 million viewers and peaking at 3.1 million. But those huge numbers didn't come just because fans love the league. They came because people want to watch Caitlin Clark. CBS Sports and other broadcasters are already bracing for a massive ratings drop, and advertisers who paid premium rates for Clark's games are likely having some very uncomfortable conversations with their media buyers right now. The league built its entire marketing strategy around one person, and now that person is injured.
Will this be the wake-up call the WNBA needs? Caitlin Clark is out for at least 2 weeks. Now we are going to see what you guys, not just the Indiana Fever, we're going to see what type of numbers this league can churn over without her.
The WNBA is facing a brutal wake-up call. Without Caitlin Clark, attendance projections for the Fever's upcoming road games have taken a nosedive. What were supposed to be highly anticipated, must-see events have suddenly reverted back to typical WNBA matchups with modest crowds. Teams that had planned special promotions and expected sellouts are now staring at half-empty arenas and disappointed fans. After 26 years, the league finally discovered its superstar, but their negligence in protecting her is costing them everything. Behind the scenes, there's a financial scramble as league executives confront just how deeply dependent they've become on Clark's star power, and that dependency is proving to be a fragile foundation. But the fallout from Clark's injury goes beyond just finances. As the news spread, an ugly, toxic side of the fanbase reared its head. While genuine basketball fans felt heartbroken and concerned, certain corners of social media erupted with outright celebration, particularly Angel Reese supporters and Chicago Sky fans. These people actually cheered a 23-year-old player getting hurt. Let that sink in. The level of hatred, cruelty, and mockery was shocking. Some made cruel jokes about the injury, others suggested Clark was faking it for attention, and many openly admitted their delight that she wouldn't be playing against their favorite teams. This isn't just a case of "we hate her" fans. This is pure hatred directed at Clark herself. They hide behind excuses, but make no mistake, they hate Caitlin Clark. This toxic online behavior mirrors the physical targeting Clark has endured on the court for years. Since her rookie season, and continuing through this year, defenders have been allowed to grab her, bump her off screens, and deliver hard fouls with little to no consequences from referees. Officials routinely turned a blind eye while opponents took cheap shots. Now, those same fans are celebrating the inevitable consequence of that unchecked physical abuse. There is a direct line connecting the corrupt officiating, which created an environment where dirty play was tolerated, to the poisonous culture of hatred flourishing online. The WNBA's failure to protect Clark sent a clear message: she was fair game. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert's failure to speak out or take a strong stance on the targeting has only made matters worse. She never publicly defended Clark or addressed the pattern of dirty play against her, giving implicit permission for opponents to treat the league's brightest star as a target rather than a player to protect. The inconsistent foul calls during Clark's rookie season and this year tell the whole story. Clark was penalized for minor infractions while defenders got away with aggressive, physical tactics. The league that allowed bullies to injure their golden goose now faces the fallout. The toxic fanbase celebrating Clark's injury is a reflection of the culture the WNBA itself helped create through negligence and weak leadership. Now, the Indiana Fever face their biggest challenge, yet without their superstar. The upcoming schedule includes games against Washington, Connecticut, and Chicago, all winnable matchups on paper. But the reality is grim. The team's offensive rating plummets from an impressive 107.5 with Clark on the floor to a disastrous 82.2 when she's sidelined. Coach Stephanie White knows the team must adapt quickly. She's already preparing tactical changes that will spread the offensive load across multiple players. Aaliyah Boston, who is averaging 18.5 points and 10.8 rebounds, will become a primary post option again. Last season, nearly 39% of Boston's possessions came through post-ups, This year, that number dropped to just 18.3% as Clark's playmaking changed the offense. Now Boston must return to her bread and butter and be a dominant force down low. Kelsey Mitchell will also take on a larger role, shouldering primary playmaking duties while maintaining her scoring. Mitchell has been the Fever's most consistent offensive weapon outside of Clark and now faces the pressure to prove she can carry the team when the spotlight is brightest. The ball will be in her hands more than ever before. Meanwhile, players like Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall, who have been solid contributors so far, must elevate their games to fill the scoring void. The Fever also brought in veterans Natasha Howard, Sydney Carlson, and Dana Bonner during the offseason specifically to add depth. This is their chance to prove those moves pay off. Coach White sees a silver lining in this disaster. She believes this forced break gives Clark an opportunity to watch the game from a new perspective, almost like a coach, and develop her basketball IQ while her body heals. It's a chance for Clark to grow mentally and learn new things by observing film and practices without the pressure of playing. White emphasizes a long-term approach, making sure Clark's injury is treated properly, avoiding overexertion, and preventing lingering issues that could affect her career down the line. Sometimes great players don't tell you when they're hurting, White said. I'm glad Clark finally did, because we need to nip this in the bud. The WNBA created this mess through pure negligence and corrupt officiating. They allowed dirty players to target their biggest star while referees looked the other way. Now they're watching ratings crash and revenue vanish as empty arenas serve as a constant reminder of what happens when you fail to protect your golden goose. But despite all this chaos, there is hope. Clark will return stronger after proper rest and with a deeper understanding of the game from the sidelines. She's never missed games before, so this break might actually benefit her long-term development. When she comes back, she'll be hungrier than ever. Meanwhile, the Fever will be battle-tested after surviving without her and hopefully emerge a more complete team ready for the playoff push. This forced adversity might be exactly what they need to prove they're more than just a one-woman show. So, let's all send Caitlin Clark our best wishes for a speedy recovery. Drop a get well soon CC in the comments below, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss any updates on the Fever and WNBA news. The league's future depends on it.